If you're looking at problem number 19 in the book, it asks you to draw a scatter plot. So you can do this on your calculator. You go to your calculator, go to Stat, Edit. If there's any numbers in your list, you want to go to the top, highlight your list, hit Clear, and then Enter. Do not hit Delete. That will delete the whole list. I want to input the revenue as my independent variable and expenditures as the dependent variable. So go ahead and start doing that. Once you've inputted all the data to get the scatter plot, you want to go to Stat Plot or hit second Y equals, hit Enter, and then hit Enter on the word On. Now if you go to Y equals, that plot one should be highlighted. And if you hit Graph, you might see nothing if you're in a standard window. The standard window goes from -10 to 10 on the X and Y axis. And I'm looking at numbers that are larger than that. So if I want to expand these axes, let's go to Zoom, Stat, so Zoom 9, and that should kind of fit the window right around your data points. You can also adjust the window by hand just by hitting the window feature. This is your scatter plot then. To get the line of best fit, we want to go back to Stat, Calc, Linear Regression, option 4. If you have the new operating system, your screen will look something like this. In order to store the regression equation in the first y sub 1 equation, you can hit F4, so go to alpha F4, y sub 1, hit Enter, and then to calculate that equation, just hit Calculate. If you have the old operating system, you're just going to want to hit Enter, and this line should appear. Now my R value is off, so I can't tell if this is a strong relationship or not, but I do have my line, which is y equals about 1.01x minus 524.49 would be your y-intercept or so. That slope of 1.01, remember your slope label is y over x. So since the y is the expenditures and the x is the revenue, this is saying for about every additional $1.01 that I take in, or excuse me, for every additional $1 of revenue, I'm paying about $1.01 in expenses. If I want to graph this line then, if you go to y equals, if you have the new operating system, that equation should be in there. That's what that F4 was all about, putting y sub 1 in there. If you have the old operating system, you can go to Vars, Stat, Equation, and hit Enter on the regression equation, and then the regression equation will be in y sub 1. If you want to hit Graph, you should see your data points along with that line of best fit. So that's part A. For part B, if I want to know if a state collected a revenue of $3,000 per capita, what I would expect them to spend per capita, that would be, I'd be looking to input 3,000 for my X values since that's the revenue. So if I go back to the screen, second Calc, and I want to do value, option 1, and I want to know when X is 3,000. Now if I graph, it's telling me it can't do it. This is probably a window error, so if I quit out of this and go to window, yep, my minimum X value is over 3,000, so let's make that under 3,000. Graph again. And now let's try to input second Calc value. Let's try to input that 3,000 value again. And sure enough, if X is 3,000, I would expect the expenditures to be about $2,510.45. The last part of the question asks for, or if I look at part C, if I'm spending $5,142 per capita, what would I expect to collect in revenue? So in this case, I want Y to be 5,142. If I go to Y equals and type in 5,142, that should give me a horizontal line. Where these lines intersect should be my answer. So second Calc, intersect, hit Enter, 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 Enter. And when Y is 5,142, I would expect the revenue to be about $5,601.26.